Appreciate it.
Look, we crowned by the king. He making connections. He building his team, connecting the dreams. Lock in on the vision. Gotta believe. Be about his business and you'll receive. Yeah, we crowned by the king. Yeah, we crowned by the king. Yeah, we crowned. Had to get to work. Had to stop all the chit chat. Too many talents, can't waste them. Yeah, that's big facts. Making kingdom moves, standing on business like me, Shaq. Aiming for our goals, click clack. Moving forward, no need to reach back. Tell me where I need to preach at. Tell me where I need to speak at.
Alrighty, back again with another episode of the CROWNEDCAST Podcast. My name is Joseph Honeysett. With me is my incredible co-host, Mr. Joel Ngulu. How are you doing today, brother?
Blessed and highly favored, my guy. It's Monday. We thriving. It's hot, but we are good.
Man, you over there shining. Your mic is glowing.
I know, man.
I'm fired up today, man. Today, we got, I think, my personal opinion, I think we booked really dope guests. Again, my personal opinion, right? However, our guest today is I'm excited to hear her story. I always love talking to people in the fitness industry and people that have an athletic background because there's so much like mindset, determination, overcoming, and then coupled with building a business. Like that's a whole nother aspect. So our guest today, she helps career-driven women to tap into their strength and confidence, helping them elevate their professional growth alongside their health. She specializes in gymnastics, calisthenics, handstands. I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm sure you'll correct me if I am. Combining an athletic background to have a unique approach to personal training. While her last name is the same as James Bond, however, there is no relation, but she is just as awesome. So without further ado, joining us on the CROWNEDCAST podcast today is Miss Sarah D. Bond. How are you doing today?
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I'm doing really well, and I'm very excited to be on this podcast, so thank you.
Of course. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Well, we love stories. We love testimonies because, man, that's how we can share life. So, Sarah, this is your time to shine. Please don't shy away. Tell us your testimony. You can start from your childhood, however you want to start, but how did you meet God? How did you get into fitness? Your journey until you are today.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could go back to growing up. I did grow up in a Christian home. It's kind of funny that I lately have been getting shared to ask my testimony, which I love because obviously our testimony is the way to bring others to God and just to share hope. But from when I was younger, I kind of just thought I had a kind of simple life, I guess. I grew up in the church. I really, really loved my church family so much. Just was kind of progressively trying to grow in my faith ever since a young age. Obviously there's hurdles and bumps along the way, but I was always pretty stagnant. I never had a dramatic transformation, coming to God, turning my life around. I didn't really have any big moments like that, but I am very, very thankful for the grounding that I did have growing up and just being able to kind of say you can't have a family that's put together. And just because the generation above you, if there's anything going on with them, you don't have to be the same. That's not your story is your own. So I think that is very powerful in itself, just kind of saying again, you can have a family that kind of grows and works together and there's nothing really huge going on. It's just living for God the best that we can. And we're human. We have our own faults. We have our own journeys. But again, that's kind of my upbringing. I did compete in gymnastics. So I competed up to level 10. So there's levels 3 through 10. So I did get to the top level. And I feel that definitely helped my faith as well, just because it's just such a mental battle. So I kind of did tap more into prayer, things like that, just to help calm my nerves before competitions, because that's very stressful in itself. And I did end up having a stress fracture, which took me out of the sport. So that was kind of, I guess, one of my first kind of big hits. I was 18 at the time. So that's kind of where life changes and you're just what am I going to do with my life? You're just your whole normal is not normal anymore. So I think that's kind of where my story started to transition of everything was kind of the same up until this moment. I don't know if you guys want me to keep going, if you have any questions, or you just want me to
keep going.
Keep going. So yeah, after fracturing my back, I remember, well, I can go back a little bit because I was competing on a fractured back that I didn't know. So a year later is when I found out that it was stress fracture.
Wow. Wow.
Athletes, we just kind of
Suck it up and go.
So I am used to like no emotion, just suck it up, keep going. This is something I can get into later of learning like how disciplined the sport was. But anyway, that's kind of like a moment too, just knowing like I did have a whole year of just like being on a back that the fracture healed, but it got to the point where it was just really bad to where I started being like, I need to do something. So I did get a MRI. My parents were like, why didn't we kind of like know how bad it was? And then that's when I did find out a year before about the fracture. So at that time when I found out, it was just way too bad. Like the mental struggle to try to push past and my back being so bad, I ended up just kind of like stopping from the sport. And that's again where life kind of moved on. So after gymnastics, I started to coach gymnastics. So that's kind of how I stayed within the sport, but also getting to be kind of a coach for the younger generation growing up, because I knew from a lot of the discipline that I went through, it was a lot. I'm very thankful for my coaches, but also like it was just like a ton of pressure. Mostly like I work in an environment really well where it's uplifting and encouraging. And a lot of times gymnastics in my time, it was just like, you're doing this wrong, fix this, you need to do this. So I started to coach in a way that I wanted to kind of change and have the girls grow up in an environment where, yes, they're still disciplined, but with love, and you can still have like fun. So that's kind of where my journey to coaching began. And also right outside of high school, I didn't go to college. I I was gonna go for like gymnastics, but of course, if I'm kind of like I'm not going for sport, like I didn't really have like a reason to, especially if I decided I did love like coaching, fitness, wellness. I didn't want to just spend all this money. I'd rather like figure out how to make it. So that's where the entrepreneurship kind of came in the side of that. So right out of high school, or in high school, I got certified in fitness and nutrition. And that day that I decided, like in high school, that I wanted to do this as a career, I posted my first picture on Instagram because I was like, I need to reach people. So I started my Instagram page when I was like 18, right out of college, right out of high school. And then that's when the journey of social media, entrepreneurship kind of came. The past like 4 years, I took my time to really learn from others. I don't learn well from textbooks. So just through general life and lots of failure is how we just kept learning. So that's kind of like the journey of life until now. It's just been kind of like trial and error outside of high school. And obviously we could go into so much detail based on what you like, especially like faith and how that ties in. But for a majority, that's kind of where gymnastics led to training, that led to entrepreneurship, and kind of just figuring out where I'm going from there.
Yeah, I love that. You said you learned a lot through failure.
Yeah.
That's the best teacher. No textbook can really teach you like failure, like getting back up can, you know. My first question for you is number one, Joelle and I, we're athletes. We play basketball together.
Right.
So it's not gymnastics, but the mentality to like be great is the same, right?
Yeah.
And doing that for the majority of your life, you have almost like career-ending injury, right? And so your identity probably up until that point was, I'm a gymnast. Now you're no longer a gymnast. Talk us through that transition. Was it difficult for you in like finding out who you are outside of being a gymnast? And then also, this is kind of like a two-part question. I'm hitting you with two at once. I'm sorry, but they go hand in hand. Is slowing down. What did that do for you, like mentally? Because as athletes, like we don't want to slow down, and now we're forced to. So I'll leave you with that.
Okay, so with the identity question, this is actually big because I feel like this is any athlete, and it's still something we're going to battle day to day, because when you move on to something else, like that's kind of where you find your identity, which I'm sure you guys kind of know like the answer where I'll probably go with this. But yeah, as a gymnast, like that's your identity, that's who you are. That's actually fun fact, the reason I didn't really want to quit, I think I started doing it just because like I'm a gymnast. This is who I am. Like, who am I going to be if I quit? Like, what do I do? That's kind of the main reason that I'm staying and why I also decided to stop, because I was like, if I'm only doing this because people know me as a gymnast, like, why am I doing this? So that's kind of where the identity was, but also understanding and making it more simple to live through life. Like our identity is in Christ and like who God made us, and we're a child of God. So like that's our true identity. So if we can kind of like take around the aspects of like, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm this, I'm that, or like labeling yourself, or we can label ourselves in the negative sense, taking all that away and just being like, I am a child of God, like this is who I am. It's going to kind of like help in every realm that you are. And then the second question, I already kind of forgot.
Slowing down, being so
down.
disciplined, and now you're being forced to slow down. How did you respond to that? How did that affect you?
Yeah, that's funny. That's probably why I forgot it, because my brain didn't want me to
Just block that out of your memory.
Yeah, I was like, slowing down. What does that mean?
Yeah, we don't do that over here.
Well, I think entrepreneurship is not typically slow. Like you can go all in full force. That's what I did the first probably 2 years. Like it was hard to even like surround myself with like friends, because I felt like, and I'm literally like 19 years old stressing out. Like I'm not like this yet. I'm not at this point, and my parents are like, you need to chill down. But yeah, with slowing down, I don't know if you guys have heard the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I read that book and it's so good, just talking about like, I mean, even the enemy's tactic can be to make us so busy that we can't even
Yes.
on God. So like wherever your conviction is, mine lately has been understanding to slow down, and even having like Sunday as an off day. One, because we do burn out. You're not as productive if you don't rest, but also like taking that time to slow down, especially in the morning. Like as busy as we are, I tried even before I'm like messages, emails, like I try to just take the morning. The first thing I do is my daily devotional, and that's kind of a good way to like set the day, kind of start a little slower unless I have work like first thing, but I still try to read at least like a verse or something like that in the morning.
No, that's amazing.
No, that's good. It's crazy because the best athletes, the people who we look up to, like that's LeBron James. Like, how does he longevity? How does he continue to do it? His number one secret was first focus, but he said rest. He sleeps all the time. Like he sleeps all night, and then he'll take naps throughout the day. So like that pause and having to self-reflect to recover, like it's so important. But we don't do it. Like I feel like the best people in the world, that's what they do. But people who are trying to become like them, we don't do that. And so like it's important. Either you slow down or God will slow you down. You know?
Yes. And I can go into a little bit more in a little bit, and this is my testimony now too, kind of going into it. But I think my biggest thing that I've been forced to slow down, because I have like extreme indigestion, like I can't eat food, and it's been like that the past 2 years. And we can't figure out what's wrong, but a lot of it is probably due to stress. And so the past 2 years, I have been really understanding like the importance of slowing down. And if you ask my husband, it's still a work in progress. But I'm getting a lot better at it. And again, just like learning to slow down. Plus, if you're just so busy, you're not even like enjoying the life that we have, which is something I'm focusing on.
Yeah, it's so funny, right? Like we have these big aspirations, these dreams to like build something big or be, a huge success, whether it's sports, whether it's business, and you build and build and build and grind and grind and grind, and then you end up building something that you absolutely hate because it's completely taken over the most important things in your life. And then you look up and you're like, I got money, but like I don't have time to even spend it. I don't have time to spend the time to spend the money with the people that I love, right? Like it's such a weird thing. And this is something that like so many people go through. Like America is the hustle culture capital of the world. Like there is no grind, there is no stop to the grind. And I truly believe like what you said, like that's just false, like that the people that are at the top, yeah, it's important to work hard. However, you need to understand to take a step back. Like I'm the same way as you. On Sundays, do nothing business related. I barely do anything other than cook. And And I like it that way because I want to be able to give my best, right? When you serve other people like you do in the coaching industry, you want to be able to give your best, and you can't when you're stressed out, when you're tired. But I will say this, I wish I had an indigestion problem because I be eating too much. So
It sucks. Don't have it.
Yeah, I don't think you want it, man. I had some gut issues, and I hated that
It's
couple
so
months I was
bad.
going through. Yeah, but mine had to do with stress too. Mine had to do with a lot of stress, and so I relate.
well,
Um,
let's actually talk about that. Having stress-induced, a stress-induced problem. What are a few ways right now that you're coping with that? Being such a high performer.
Well, I'm actually starting a new protocol today where we're trying to like figure out any type of factors just through like a natural route where I have like a short list of foods that I can eat, but I've always had to blend. So if I have meat, veggie, things like that, I can't digest it well. So for the longest time, I just make soup out of it and I'll like drink it. Or for some reason, I can have like bars, things like that that are soft. I would have smoothies, but today I'm starting a new protocol, so we'll see how it goes. But I can only have like a very small list, and it all has to be like blended. So it's for a while. But that's kind of how I'm managing, just through like random foods that I can figure out what my body can tolerate, or like simple sugars, which I can't have right now. But even stuff like that, it digests faster. So that's kind of how I could get my energy. But again, for 2-ish years, I haven't really been doing any like extreme intense exercises. So I was loving to do like CrossFit, things like that. But I have learned again to slow down a little bit. I like all my workouts to be so fast paced, like go do this, have to be tired. But lately I've been like going for more walks, focusing more on my acro and my handstands because they don't like get my heart rate up as much. And I'm still lifting straight training, but I'm trying not to do like hit workouts as much.
Okay. Interesting. With I love the topic of discipline. I'm sure you've heard this phrase, discipline equals freedom. With your background and even with what you're doing now, can you talk about what that means? You may agree, you may not agree. I'm just curious as what your mindset is when it comes to discipline and how it actually, by saying no, you get to say the best yes.
I definitely think discipline is huge. Like it's one of the best aspects we can have because that's how you're going to be able to do kind of anything, having the discipline of your brain. Because that's even with my training that I do for all my clients. It's like I'm not just a fitness trainer because I feel like we can't really be just a fitness trainer because yes, you're training them to work out, but it all starts from the mind. So even facts like that, discipline is big in like how you train, how you live your day to day. But going back to like my background, and I feel like a lot of high competitive athletes, when it's so disciplined to the point where I competed on a fractured back and didn't even like work to like listen to myself. I almost you become like robotic where you're not understanding your own self and like how to listen to your body and where you are. So there's also a point where you're still disciplined, but not to the fact where you're not really like overriding some of the cues that your body's trying to tell you. Like even for where I'm at now, like if I wasn't trying to listen to this indigestion and focus on my health, it could actually almost be unhealthy because I would be pushing my body so past the limit where it would be unhealthy. So I feel like there's like a balance in a way.
No, that's good. I want to talk about, I guess, the spiritual aspect, that transformation. Like, there's a lot of people, like especially young people, like they have that rock bottom, they have that moment where like they know they need to pivot or identity crisis. But where do you go? What do you do? I mean, I can go to church on Sunday, but what did you do that can encourage someone today?
That's good. And especially with the journey I'm on right now, because I said that my upbringing, I felt kind of like chill. Again, there's hard moments, but for the most part, it was good. And then this extreme indigestion, and there's been a few other like life things that have happened that it's honestly been like one of the hardest seasons of my life. And some things I can like probably open up in the future about. But yeah, pretty big moments to be what I could say some people close to rock bottom. And from there, I could choose two routes, right? I could be like, oh, I'm going to go to like party and do all these things, which I never have, or never even really had alcohol, but I could choose to go like dive into that. Or I could choose to surround myself with people who I want to look up to, who are going to be on the same path that I want to go on. So surrounding myself with the right people is the biggest thing, who are like going to encourage me, going to uplift me, going to draw me closer to God. And then again, it's like this could pull me further away from God or closer to God. So the best thing that I do have is him, and being my rock and my foundation, and going to prayer, going to him when it's hard. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like trials are what's going to kind of like refine us. So everything that I'm going through now, yes, it sucks. Yes, it's so hard, but I can choose to have joy in the journey, and I don't have to be miserable. Like, yes, some days I get to that point and it's really, really hard, but I also can find joy. And the only way that I can have that is through God. Like, I cannot even explain how, like where it could be if I didn't have God, basically. And I feel like that's everyone's testimony. If you're a Christian, like, where would we be without him?
Lost.
Yeah.
Lost and confused, and trying to put everything else inside that God-sized hole in our heart, you know. No, that's beautiful.
What about books then? Because like you referenced the ruthless aggression of not being in a hurry. I forget the exact quote, but that book it's a Christian based book. So like, what did you read? Some books that helped you out to get in that mindset, to help you surround people? Because a lot of times we're people pleasers and we're going through it, and God is shaping us. He's taking people away from our lives so we can be around the right people, but we don't recognize it. So it takes like mentors, books, things to like help us see what's actually going on right now. For you, was it like books specifically? And if it was, what specific books did you read?
Yeah, I mean, that's the main one I've read right now. There's a lot of podcasts that I listen to, and then just like spiritual mentors, pastors, people I can go to meet up and talk with. But yeah, I think podcasts have been good too. Like, I like Whoa, That's Good podcast by Sadie Robertson. I don't know if you know that one, but it's good.
No, we only listen to the CROWNEDCAST podcast.
This one is good too. I'm gonna be listening to it.
No, that's good. That's good. Great reference.
Yeah. You know, the fitness industry. I used to live in Vegas, and the fitness industry is a lot of like healthy, unhealthy people. Like,
Yes.
they're physically healthy sometimes, but mentally healthy a lot of times they're not.
Mhm.
You know, from your identity in Christ, can you kind of share how that has, like, you know, continuously shaped you, but also, you know, in your bio it says you know, help women, you know, through, you know, fitness and personal growth and development and stuff like that. You know, we believe that we're the light. Can you kind of share, like, as a coach, yes, you're more than just a fitness coach, right? Like, you're also somebody's therapist. You're
Yeah.
also somebody guiding light through life, through the hard times. Like, when you're coaching with people and just in daily conversations, how do you like show the light? How do you show Jesus through your everyday?
That's good. I think my biggest thing that I always say is when it doesn't make sense. That's what I always
Yes.
say. It's like, what are people going to question you about? It's like, man, why is she like that? Like, it doesn't make sense. I can't, like, they cannot comprehend. They're like, I want to be like that. I want more of that. That's kind of where I try to like tie in, especially with my page on Instagram. I try not to fully make it like a Christian page, because then you're going to attract all these like Christians, which that's good for some people, but I felt called to that. I felt like make it kind of like normal basics where like a lot of people see it, but then I like throw in and sprinkle in my faith, even though it says God first in my bio. But like my page isn't always like all these like faith-filled things. I just like to sprinkle it in so people see normal, and then like also get tied in and be like, oh. And then with coaching, I add daily devotionals into my programs. So I have this 12-week program that I did build out, and it has daily devotionals for them to follow every day. And I like specifically picked them out the way that I kind of want them to follow along. And then we work a lot on mindset work too, because I think vanity is something like you said, especially in Vegas or in other places. It's like people are so focused on how they look, and that's all they think about. They're not thinking about their health. They're only thinking about the outside. And not even like the mindset or like how they're thinking. So that's kind of like, even to the point of my coaching, I don't typically even like weigh people, because then they get fixated on the weight or things like that, and the weight is going to fluctuate. If you build muscle, it gets in people's heads. So I really, really try to focus on like, how are you feeling? How are you thinking about yourself? It all starts at how you think about yourself, because we can lose weight, but then you want to lose more weight. Then you want to lose more weight. And then you're never really going to get to a place you're happy unless you reframe your brain. So it really is, like you said, like therapist. It's like we have to work on our mindset, and like faith and fitness tie in so well together in that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Faith, fitness, and business. Like, it's just, again, it's all a mindset, right? It's you get knocked down 7 times, well, you get up an 8th, right?
Yep.
And through that's how you actually become better in your skill set, in your field, in your industry. You know, you had started at 19 years old. Now, I don't know how young you are now. You still kind of look 19 years old, but
Oh man,
which is, by the way, that's a good thing. Okay.
it is a good thing, but
I'm with it.
Yeah. And so, you know, through that journey of however many of years, like, what advice would you give somebody, you know, starting out now that has thoughts of, like, you know, like you were telling us about the conversation with your parents, like, I'm 19 and I'm not, you know, XYZ, and you get trapped into the comparison. Like, what would you tell somebody that's just starting out on that journey, that has those aspirations, but doesn't necessarily understand the patience and the overcoming, and that it takes years to be an overnight success?
Yeah. I just turned 24 like 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
it's been a few years.
Yeah.
I think my biggest encouragement, and I want to be, this is why I like podcasts, to be fully real. I'm not anywhere near where I feel like I would want to be with business. And I feel like that's a lot of entrepreneurs, but we see people way up here. And that's probably like the little percent of people who are like really successful. They know the business ins and outs. They love business, like they're thriving, and they put their all into it, which is kind of what we're doing. But it's still like, it takes so long to get there, and you don't see what they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know their story. So for me, I've just put in a lot of work for the years of kind of, again, trial and error. Like, you're going to fail, you're going to learn, you're going to fail, you're going to learn, and you have to keep going. That's what being an entrepreneur is. And it can be even to the point where people question you. They're like, why are you still trying? Like, it's not like, you could just get a regular job. Like, that's going to happen. But if you have the passion and you feel like you're going to get there, you just have to keep putting in the work and learning. And there's going to be scary times. You're going to mess up, but you have to just keep pushing through that, and finding people that you can trust and support. And I think that's another big and kind of scary thing too, because especially in today's age, there's so many scams out there. So you have to like learn what to look out for, who to trust. That's like a whole nother journey. But again, just kind of like pushing through. And it's like, what is your goal? What do you want? I've even gotten to the point too, like, I am trying again to slow down. So there was a point where I was chasing. But I'm also trying to be content where I'm at. So what does success look like to you? And it doesn't have to look like success for other people. It could be making this amount of money, or it could be helping this amount of people. But your success, you can't really compare what it looks like to other people.
You know, you hit a buzzword for me. You said being content. You know, obviously, you know, I think people put a negative connotation when it comes to being content, because that means, it's like, to most people, it's like, I'm not trying anymore. I'm good where I'm at. Can you talk about like being content and being where your feet are at, but also having goals and aspirations and still pushing forward?
Yeah. Again, success looks different to everyone. I randomly had this, like, I don't even know what it was. I've been, again, probably stressed out because my gut is not okay, and I've been like pushing. But then I was like, dang, if I'm trying to like make this amount of money, and it's not even like extreme at all, I just like want to be comfortable enough to like live comfortably. And I was like, if I'm stressing so much and trying to make this amount of money, like, is it even worth it? Like, is it worth it for the amount of stress that I am in? It's not even fun. I'm getting burned out. Like, I just want to live life a little more, especially being young. I don't have kids or anything like that. Like, I should be enjoying my time, that I even have to go like, hang out with friends, go to my dance classes, things like that. So there's also a time, again, like success might look different. Like for me right now, it's like, oh, I have time to enjoy the day. Like I should take that and live in the moment versus looking to the future all the time. Like I think that's another thing we can caught up in. It's like the future. Like I want to get here. I want to get here. It's almost like the thing where I said losing weight. It's like you're never happy because you're chasing things all the time. But it's like kind of going back into faith. Like we're so blessed, and it's counting your blessings and knowing like what you do have and slowing down to be able to see that. Because if you're moving too fast, you don't really notice the blessings you have.
Mm.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's the enemy right there.
Yeah, sounds like my life right there. I kept going, doing good things, but not God things. You know, it's
Yeah.
two different things. You know, but I have a question about, because you mentioned Instagram, and for me, I do a lot of marketing, and I believe social media is great for marketing. It's more for brand awareness, but there's tactics, there's tricks. For you, I see your Instagram. Instagram is popping. I love the way it looks. Is there any strategies or tips that you want to share with someone who's like, I don't know what to do, where to start, when should I post, what time I should post? Obviously, it's different for every entity, for whatever you're offering. But is there like a general tip that you can give?
Yeah, and in all honesty too, this is something that's been so hard for me. And I feel like a lot of creators who have been doing it for as long as me, our pages has been just at a halt. Like I'm doing the same exact thing, trying to learn the strategies. And there's a baseline of strategies, and I will definitely give you all the basics because no matter what you do and being consistent, it's gonna help you out. But also don't be sad if your page is stuck because you could be doing all the right things and it sometimes our pages just like get stuck for a little bit, but you just have to keep posting, keep being consistent. But I would say you like if you're on a creator page, most pages should have it. There's like a professional dashboard. That's going to be like your biggest friend because it tells you like the times people are active, like the audience that you have. That can kind of help you know like when you might want to post and who you might want to post for. But also you have to kind of niche down on what you want to specifically post. Is it like for men? Is it for women? Because the person you are speaking to is going to be the audience you have. So it's like kind of creating an avatar and then posting to that person, especially if you have a business. It's like kind of being consistent in who you're posting for and what you're posting about. Mine's a little bit more of a lifestyle page, so I try to like blend in some things, but they typically have like a theme. Like you notice it's like fitness, acro. I'm speaking to women mostly, but it's also generalized a little bit as well. But again, just kind of like creating an avatar and trying to be consistent in who you're posting for and the amount of times you post. I think I post every day. I post every day consistently, but as long as you have a consistent pattern, I think that's what Instagram looks for, is just being consistent with the days you post.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we have a guy that helps people like get their offers, get their business more specific, and I always harp on that. I'm always like, hey, you can't market to everybody. Not everyone's your client, and that's the reason why you're struggling. You need to get more specific, and I think it's the same with social media. So I thank you for that confirmation. But yeah.
Yeah.
For your business, you know, especially being a Christian, right? Like, hey, you mentioned like scammers and the internet's crazy, right?
AI.
What'd you say?
AI now is getting crazy, bro. Fake profiles looks like real people. You don't know what's real anymore.
Oh yeah, it's changing the game. But you know, one of the things that Joel and I we always talk with, right? Especially like with whether we're doing deals with clients or just coordinating with people for business transactions, things like that. Not everybody holds the same standards as us, right? And we're always talking about like leading through humility and grace. Can you share, maybe peel back the curtain, maybe share a story of just a time that like your pride, your ego was tested in that when it comes to like business dealings or clients or something like that?
That's
These are
so
always the fun stories for me.
Yeah, no, okay, so I am very lucky. For the most part, people that I have been on calls with to like onboard them into my programs, most of the people on there, they've been so sweet and very understanding. The main thing usually is just like they won't sign up if it's like too expensive, which that's a whole nother thing of learning. But Other than that, I do remember there was this one girl, and I should have probably learned, because if you kind of understand that people have gone from trainer to trainer, they're probably just like not really happy in general. But I remember I was trying to please this girl so much, because I am a people pleaser and I hate making people sad or like feeling like I failed, which again we learned from. But yeah, I do remember I was just doing everything I could, like trying to like fix all the problems, like create a program that she wanted. And then it's kind of hard to explain a lot of things, but basically I was just putting so much effort in, messaging back and forth. And me as a coach, like I know what's best, but as a client, sometimes this doesn't happen very often, but it's like they think they know what they want, but as a coach, you know what they need. And they can't quite understand that you're coaching them in a way they know they need, but they just want to be coached in the way that they want, if that makes sense. And that in the end, I just gave her a refund. It was really complex, but that's kind of honestly like the biggest story that I do have. It was just like I was just trying so hard, and in the end, I was like, "Here's a refund." I really couldn't do it.
You're like, I'm just gonna fire myself. I don't like this
Yeah.
interaction at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that goes back to what we were just talking about, like marketing and social media, right? Like not everybody is your client. And when you're a little bit more broad with your messaging around who you do help, right? Sometimes you get those people that just aren't your client, like they're not your vibe. They want something that they don't even need. And my fiance, she's in the, health and like spa and skin world. And like I hear stories, and there's like women that want a facial, but they want a certain outcome. And she's like, well, you can only get that through like a chemical peel, or she'll suggest another thing. Like, no, but I heard that I could get it through this. Like, no, like we can still do it, but I'm going to let you know it's not the result that you want. Like if you're going to spend money, like I prefer you to spend money and actually get those results. So as a coach, do you go through that and you're like, do you just kind of appease them and let them know like, hey, we can do it your way. I'm just giving you, upfront, like you'll still get results, but maybe not the exact results in the time frame. Like, how do you go about that when there's somebody that's like maybe upset with the results because they're not doing it the way that you're coaching them to, or maybe they're just, cheating at home with their meals or whatever it may be? How do you have that conversation with a client, leading them with grace and knowledge, but helping them understand that like, hey, I am the coach and you are paying me and I want you to succeed?
Yeah. Typically, again, most people, they're kind of like, they understand they're paying you for your expertise, so they respect that. But if people don't really understand, again, it can get to the point where I was just like, here's a refund. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm not doing the best that I can with this. Like, I know like what a good coach would like present, and if you can't present them to them, like in my opinion, it was just kind of like I can't coach that way. But there is a point where it's not that extreme, where it's like, okay, we can try to throw in like what you need and like work around, because people have different goals, they have different like ways they want to do things, they enjoy things different ways. So if I have something set, I am happily like ready to change things around in a way that they will enjoy it. So there is definitely like wiggle room in that. It's not like you have to do it this way or else like you're not making results. Like one-on-one coaching is very personal. Everyone's different. They have different goals. As long as they're like open to kind of understanding the pathway and like following the kind of like goal, that's good. And again, there's ways around it. But then also I had like this thought when you were talking about like even the facial, where it's like we know what's best, but then the client is like, well, I want it this way. It almost made me think about how we can like treat God. It's like we don't understand. Like we don't understand what's going on. Our brains can't comprehend, and it's like God is like, but this is the path. This is the way we want it. We're like, no, I'm gonna go that way.
Right.
Exactly. No, that's 100%. I have one more question. I really want to know this because I ask everyone this question, but you might answer it. You might already know, but let's say someone gave you $2 million. You can't start a business with it. You have to only start a nonprofit or some NGO. What would that look like? Would it be for women? Would it be overseas? Would it be incarcerated, what would that look like? Yeah, $2 million, you can't make money from it.
That's actually so good. Oh, okay, so many things. I have like two things that I would like, because lately I've been really wanting to go on to like a mission trip to Africa. There's a village called Watoto. That's a mission trip I really want to go on. I don't know if that's something I would do, or it's like more towards missions, but I also have always had this vision in my head, and this is why I do have like the career-driven woman thing on my bio, and who I'm trying to at least target for the most part online. Oh, I don't know if it cut out.
Oh no, you're
No,
good.
you're good.
Yeah, but I think it would also go towards something like that, like making some type of non-profit where I could help a bunch of women, but also all that money can go in towards it, and I don't have to like officially like make as much money, because I just want to help them. But that would be really, really cool to be able to grow some type of like maybe even a retreat to take women away and like get them out of their space. And that way we can like really work on like mindset together, be there together, have like worship sessions, work on nutrition, go do activities together. Just again, you're getting out of your normal life, getting away to be quiet, slow down, but also really focus in on all the faith and fitness things that we kind of talked about together. That would be really cool.
No, that's good. That's good. I usually ask those questions because that's a tell sign to where you're going. You know, usually God puts things in your hearts that you want to do that you just can't. But so if you had a limited money, what would that look like? And for you, it seems like helping women, taking them to retreats, but also being a part of missions. And so be prepared for those doors opening up for you later on in your life. So
Hey, that's good. Yeah. It's kind of funny too, because this is gonna sound so weird, but I have like a bunch of like male clients, and I grew up with brothers. Like I'm like someone who like I work really well with like the pros,
You're a
but
gym bro.
but somehow I've felt very called to like help women. So it's kind of funny how it like works that way. But I do feel called to work with women.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's just that vision in my head. Like I always see me leading a bunch of women. I think it's because we can obviously relate to each other a little bit more, and like getting women into a space where they can be more open and comfortable. They're not as comfortable in like an environment with men. So giving them that space, especially if I am more in the realm where I'm able to like push and be like that gym bro, it gives me the availability to have that kind of overhead to kind of help them step into that strength and empowerment without being like, I don't know, like I don't want it to be too feminine, which that could be a big word in these days. I don't know what I'm saying.
What do you mean by that?
But basically it's kind of like pushing outside of your comfort zone and being a woman. That's not typical. Like a lot of times it's like getting together and going shopping and doing all these things, which is changing a lot now. But I want to be someone who's kind of there to like light that fire and empowerment within them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like we all need that. Like, you know, women need that for women, men need that for men, couples need that for couples, right?
Yeah.
Like Christians need that for Christians. Like we're called to do life together. We're not supposed to be alone. And having community is one of the most important things. And even when it comes to like business now, like you're seeing businesses build communities. I mean, that was one of the first things that we did when we got into business. Before we had a product, we built a community. And it works well, but there's such a need for it. I remember our first event we did. We're like, all right, let's see if the marketplace has a need for both faith and business. Like, let's see who just shows up. And it was kind of in like a little ghetto boba tea shop in a part of Dallas, and there was like 20 people that showed up, and they're like, and we just got so much good feedback, right? And we're like, wow, like we didn't even think this was good, right? But it's not about how it looks; it's about how you make people feel, right? There's a great quote, like nobody remembers like what you say, they remember how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And we're literally designed to be together, right? God created Eve for Adam to not be alone, right? And so, I just push you and encourage you to go and do that, because there's different flavors of ice cream. Like there's different flavors of people for all different types of people. Does that make sense? Like I may be a strawberry ice cream person, right? And there's other strawberry ice cream people out there too, right? Would you say chocolate?
I'm a chocolate, bro.
We know you are.
If you didn't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know. But that's really cool. We have he was a guest on our podcast. He's a former professional bodybuilder, Brad Rowe. He's built something similar to what you're talking about, specifically for men. He has a compound in Montana, and he invites men out there and has like an intimate, 4 to 8 people, and they just build relationship. They're out in the wilderness. They talk about fitness. They talk about God, and again, there's just such a need for that. So I'm excited for you as you step into that, whenever that is.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, and then another thing I really love too is fivefolds. Like I always discuss fivefold ministry. I don't know if you heard of that, like the pastor, apostle, teacher, evangelist, and prophet. For you, like I literally like it comes off like the screen: apostle, 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 apostle. Why? Because you don't really care about the money, making the money for it. Yeah, that's a part of it, but you really love building things and just like elevating people. Like I want to work with someone who wants to help themselves, doesn't know how to do it, but I'll come in and light that fire up, and they can go off and running. It doesn't hurt me, And so I see that from you and everything you've talked about. I'm like, yeah, she needs to know you're an apostle, and so it comes with a lot of heartaches, but it's necessary.
Yay, thank you. I think that's honestly too where my whole business and entrepreneurship thing has been hard for me, because it's like you do have to make money to be able to obviously live, and you have to do it kind of on your own. But then it almost becomes when you have to make it, you like start to chase it. But I'm not such like a money business person. I just want to help people. So there's that whole like balance of everything. That's where like my struggle is right now.
Absolutely. I want to switch gears for like the last couple minutes, going back to your faith. I love when people talk about like if they've received a prophetic word, or that God just placed something in their heart. Obviously, you're in this path that you're on right now, and who knows what the future holds. But at a young age, did like God place something in your heart to where it really guided you to where you're at now?
I think the main thing still is like that vision of me leading women, and I don't fully know what it means yet. It's just like leader. That's all I really know, and I don't know how to get there yet. I've just been kind of again figuring out my path, but that's just kind of like a vision that I've had. And then other than that, I did have one of my pastors a long time ago. He kind of just like brought up when he was praying over people, just talking about my page, how it's gonna just be a light to a lot of people and help others. And I have had some good messages from people saying, like, even parents messaging me being like, my kids love your page, like you're such an example. And I won't even notice it sometimes, but it is good to hear from others that what you're putting out still is at least helping one people. So those are kind of the two main things, just like the page, knowing that even if I'm posting, it's like helping at least one person. And then the leading, being a leader.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love leadership. I think when we choose to give our life to Christ, we automatically adopt the role of being a leader, right? Because number one, we're on this earth to lead other people to Christ. How we do that is how we live our life each and every single day. And now how the world is, like, we're put in a microscope even more, right? It's almost like that perfectionist mindset that people have of Christians, like, oh my gosh, you can't have a drink, or you can't cuss, or and maybe those things are better to not do, right? But that doesn't like block your blessings or get you not into heaven, right? But there's just that extra responsibility, and I love that aspect of responsibility of like, yeah, let's actually raise the standard, let's actually raise the bar, like above what cultures and society standards are, because we are the light. Like, for our mission for Crowned is like we want people to be like, oh my gosh, what's up with all these Christians that are like successful in business and impacting the economy and like making it better for the rest of us. Like, we want that to be that people are like, maybe we should actually look into like what following Jesus Christ is, right? And to do that each and every single day through how you live your life by being that woman leader, right? It's so necessary today. So there's an attack on men, but I also think there's an attack on women as well through culture, songs, right? It's more excuse my language right here, but right, I think it's more popular and like socially acceptable to be a thought than it is to be like a well-respecting
Yeah.
woman. And
No,
women like yourself that are, strong inside and out, right? Like we need that because men, like we actually are more attracted to that, whether you believe in God or not. We're more attracted to a woman that respects herself, that has high standards, that is a woman of value, than somebody who's just, kind of goes with the stream and with what other people are doing.
yeah, no, that's good. And I think even when you're talking about kind of like the attack on men, obviously that plays a role in women as well because you're in a relationship. So if like the men's role is like to lead or things like that that are biblical, the world kind of changes it around and it's kind of showing too. So there's a lot of things that God has called us to do, not because it's like hardcore rules, but I mean they are, but it's like to protect us and to help us because again, he knows what's best and we don't.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said something controversial right there. You
Nah,
said men
don't
leading.
Get me started. Don't get me
Men
started,
leading
bro.
in 2025. Oh my gosh. How dare you? No, so yeah, no, that's all the questions I have. Joel, I know you said that was your last question. Do you have anything else for her?
No, that was it. This was a blessing for me.
Yeah.
I got to meet you. Thank you for the podcast. But I do want to leave this some time for you, Joseph, if you want to give her time to.
Yeah, I was
highlight
just
herself.
gonna say, like, take the next couple of seconds or minutes to just let everybody know, number one, how they can connect with you if they want to join your fitness programs or anything else you got going out there, whether it be a book, a YouTube. Just plug yourself. This is your time. Do it.
Yay, thank you guys. Also, this was a blessing for me too, so very refreshing. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, it's Sarah in DOROUGH. That's throughout those all platforms. And then other than that, I have an Empower Fit 12-week program. That's kind of like my main program that I've built out. It's 12 weeks. It's through an app, and then there's tutorial videos for every exercise, access to messaging me within the app, a community. There's daily devotionals in there. There's mobility because we always need mobility, and your workouts every day. So core, you have your basic training. There's dumbbell only option and option if you have a gym. So I'm trying to make it to like where it's very accessible with like whatever you do have. So that's kind of like the 12-week program. That's like my main offer, but I also do one-on-one. So I actually just brought on a lady today. She really wants to get into calisthenics. So that if you see my page, once you get on there, you're going to be like, dang, this girl does crazy things, crazy skills. That's something I love coaching. My passion really is for like calisthenics and getting your body moving in different ways. So I'm happy to do one-on-one where I can basically provide you what you're looking for and get you like skill-based training, nutrition, and I have a pull-up program and a handstand program. So all the skills, all the things. Yeah.
How many pull-ups can you do?
I just did a competition one day. I did 120.
Like all in once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, we got to get it together, bro.
Get the pull-up program.
I need to step my game up.
I'm about to speak for yourself, man. I think I'm close.
120?
No, you said 120 or 20?
No, just 20.
Oh,
yeah, 20.
Oh, I thought you said 120. I was like, oh my gosh, this is David Goggins level.
Maybe in a few like hours, but 2-0.
2-0. Okay. I mean, that's still very impressive. Most people can't get past like 8 pull-ups, so that's super dope. Still, we gotta step our game up.
I love helping women get a pull-up because it is like statistics like most women can't really do, and yet so they think that they can't, and I'm like, you can do a pull-up. You just have to put in the effort and stay consistent.
Exactly. Yes, that consistency. Well, how we always end our podcast is we have our guests pray us out. Is that something you'd be open to?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you, God, for this time that we had together. And I'm very thankful that I got to come on this podcast. And I pray that this blesses at least someone. And if not, I just pray that this is going to bless someone in the future with whatever they're going through and encourage them. And I thank you for all the guests. And I pray that they just have an amazing week and get to know you more and feel refreshed this week. And especially when we were talking about slowing down, just understanding that it's okay to take in time, slow down, breathe, and get the daily word in, and just be able to speak to you and understand what you have called on their lives. And I pray all this in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen,
Amen.
amen. Well, this has been an honor. Seriously, it's been a blessing. You mentioned refreshing. We feel the same exact way. Like anytime we have the opportunity to talk to somebody, get that testimony out, like this is kingdom work. That's what we look at it, right?
Yeah.
Because you never know who's on the other side of the screen that like you're radically transforming their life through your story. And so, we pray that. And again, it's an honor. So without further ado, Miss Sarah D. Bond, thank you so much for joining us. And to everybody else, we'll see you next time on the CROWNEDCAST podcast.
Hey.